Let's be real for a second. When you hear the word audit, what's the first feeling? For most of us, it's this cold wave of panic, right? It feels like a pop quiz you're totally unprepared for. But what if that's the completely wrong way to look at it? What if an audit isn't actually a threat, but an opportunity? A chance to really see what your organization is made of and build something stronger, something more resilient.
So imagine this. That email lands in your inbox. Subject line, audit notification. Your heart probably does a little flip-flop. And the first instinct for so many is just panic, scramble the jets, run around, worry. But you have another choice. You can plan. You can take control of the situation. And that single choice, panic versus plan, is what we're going to break down right now.
All right, here's our game plan. We've got a 5-part roadmap to get you from chaos to total control. First, we'll figure out what we're up against. Then we'll draft the blueprints for our defense, actually build those defenses up, and deal with the all-important human side of things. And finally, we'll look at how that final report isn't an end. It's actually just the beginning.
Okay, so where do we even start? Well, before you can build any kind of defense, you've got to know exactly what you're defending against. So our preparation doesn't start with frantic action. It starts with getting crystal clear on the specific challenge that's coming your way.
You know, it's so easy to just lump all audits into one big, scary bucket, but that's mistake number one. A financial audit is a totally different animal than, say, a security audit for SOC 2. Getting ready for a HIPAA compliance review is going to involve different people and different proof than an operational one. So knowing exactly which type of audit you're facing is absolutely step one. It dictates everything: who's on your team, what you need to gather, the whole shebang.
Once you know the what, it's time to figure out the how. This is where we start drafting the blueprints. Think about it. You wouldn't build a fortress by just randomly stacking rocks, would you? Of course not. You'd have a detailed plan. That's what this is all about, swapping that frantic energy for a smart, meticulous strategy.
And the absolute foundation of any good blueprint is governance. Seriously. Long before you even think about pulling a single document, you have to answer some basic questions. Who owns this whole process? Who's our point person for the auditors? Who's in charge of getting evidence from engineering, and who's getting it from finance? Nailing this down first creates a clear chain of command and saves you from a world of headache and confusion later on. So the blueprint itself follows a really clear, logical path. First, you set the scope. You draw a line around exactly what's being looked at. Then you look inside that line and do your own risk assessment. You find your own weak spots before they do. Then you can build your internal team and your project plan. And finally, once your house is in order, you open up that channel of communication with the auditors. See? It turns this massive, scary thing into 4 very manageable steps. All right, blueprints are in hand. Now it's time to grab our hard hats and get to work. This phase is all about the actual construction, gathering the evidence that makes up the walls of your fortress, and then stress testing those walls to make damn sure they're going to hold up. And one of the most powerful tools in your toolbox here is something called a control self-assessment, or CSA. It's a game changer. Instead of just waiting around for an auditor to point out your flaws, your own teams get proactive. They look at their own work and ask the tough questions. Is this control we have in place actually working, and how do we prove it? It's all about finding and fixing things on your own terms. So what does this building phase really look like? Well, a few key things. You've got to have a solid system for collecting and organizing evidence so nothing slips through the cracks. You have to comb through your documentation and make sure what's on paper actually matches what you do in reality. You've got to actively test your controls, and my favorite, you have to run mock audits. Think of it as a dress rehearsal. It's the absolute best way to find any gaps in your performance before opening night. Now, you can have the most perfect processes, the most brilliant technology, but at the end of the day, audits are run by people, which means that managing the human element, well, that's not some soft skill. It's probably your most powerful tool in this whole process. Think about interacting with auditors as 2 sides of the same coin. On one side, you have relationship management. That's proactive, it's collaborative, and it's about building trust. Then on the other side, you've got data request management. That's more reactive and procedural. It's about getting them what they ask for accurately and on time. You have to be great at both. A good relationship makes the requests go smoother, and being efficient with requests builds that all-important trust. They feed each other. And keeping everyone aligned is just everything. You've got to keep your own teams and leadership in the loop so there are no surprises. You need to do process walkthroughs to show the auditors how things work in the real world, not just tell them. And you need to give clear, concise updates to your audit committee to keep their support. Constant communication just prevents so many problems before they can even start.
So, the audit's over. The report is delivered. You can finally breathe and forget about this for another year, right? Nope. Wrong. The end of the audit is not the finish line. If you're smart, it's the starting block for the next cycle of getting even better.
The key here is to treat that audit report like a strategic roadmap, not a final grade. You take the findings, you report them out, and most importantly, you create action plans to fix every single weakness they found, and you track those plans. That's where the real growth happens. From there, you look for ways to automate and improve. This simple loop transforms the audit from a painful, one-time event into an engine for getting better all the time.
And all of this work, every single step we've talked about, it all points to this one ultimate goal: continuous audit readiness. Just imagine a world where that audit notification email comes in and nobody panics. It's just another Tuesday, because your systems, your processes, your documentation, they're always ready. That isn't just peace of mind. That's a massive strategic advantage.
Because when you really get down to it, the point was never just about passing the test. The real goal is to build an organization that's so strong, so in control, that it's always ready. It's about building that fortress to be strong every single day of the year, not just on inspection day. So the real question I'll leave you with is your organization built to be ready?